I just finished reading Tower of Dawn. I read it solo without doing the community mandated tandem read, and I gotta say, I feel Chaol's story for the entirety of Tower of Dawn was as if Legolas got a 600-page book in the middle of Lord of the Rings. It's relevant, but kind of unnecessary in this capacity. And here's why. Reading Tower of Dawn gave me a sense of whiplash. Empire of Storms ended with an incredibly high stakes, almost apocalyptic ending. It was probably the highest tension of the main storyline that I have read so far. Tower of Dawn is suddenly a shift with tension of a different sort. Determination on two fronts, and takes place on an entirely different continent. Structurally, I feel Tower of Dawn reads like an overbloated novella. Moss did an excellent job with setting the scene for Antica as being the capital on the continent, heavily differentiated from the wilderness of the rest of the southern continent. We understood the political structures and the importance of the tower and the healers, and what two resolutions Chaol actually sought during his journey there. I mean, it was mentioned more than several times by multiple figures throughout the book. So everyone knew why Team Terrason was there. I feel the number of filler conversations and travel journeys was really drawn out. These scenes could have been heavily trimmed to keep the emotional beats up and sharp on point without stalling the key parts of the timeline, like Assassin's Blade did. And I'm speaking from the perspective of deeper analysis of world building versus self-indulgence. I mean, look at how other epic fantasy authors have handled a mass scale. For example, George R.R. Martin split A Feast of Crows with A Dance with Dragons by geography rather than chronologically. Separating characters we love during global conflict is a really high risk structural gamble that doesn't always play off for the reader's psychological momentum. Fan favorites get left behind, and there's timeline desynchronization that becomes emphasized due to publishing dates, especially when they span years within each other. So asymmetrical pacing runs the risk of losing readership interest. While Tower of Dawn was adding to world expansion, it proved a classic battle of letting the fantasy universe breathe versus letting it wander into the woods. Look, I feel a good story in the wrong place can feel like a bad story. Tower of Dawn was good, but would have been better off as a novella. I 100% regret not doing the tandem read, and now I'm gonna pour a metaphysical glass of fresh wine while preparing for Kingdom of Ash. I gotta know your thoughts. Did the tandem read save this book for you, or do you agree it should have been a 200-page novella? Let me know in the comments below.